Meet sailing yacht Avanti and her crew, Gerard and Jacqueline. We left Cape Town in December 2021 on our floating home, heading west on an adventure of a lifetime around the world. Last week we left Chagos and started our crossing to Madagascar and made it safely through the Mascarene Plateau at night. This episode we round the Cap d'Ambre and reach Madagascar.
The rigging that we replaced is holding up well. The only thing we would complain about is the amount of rain that's more than we expected. With a relatively nice Friday morning and early afternoon with sun and good conditions, we were a little bit shocked by Friday evening. The forecast said 20 knots, gusting 27 in the evening and only light passing rain. But Ramon, our Swiss friend, did warn us that there might be some big rain fronts approaching. So before sunset we could see them, and the wind built quite a bit. It was blowing, I think, almost all night, around 30 constantly, and Jackie says she's seen a gust of 37. I saw maybe 35 on my watch, but it was 30 knots. The swell picked up obviously as well, so quite big, but that with times it also subsided. But the rain front that I had on my first watch was crazy. It was about 2.5 hours and it rained continuously, bringing gusts to 35 and waves that rolled us around, so quite exciting. And the rest of the night was also not easy, so not a lot of sleep. I was so tired, I did manage to get a few hours. But yeah, today hopefully it's already calmer, Saturday morning. Like the prediction said, I hope it lasts so that we can rest a bit today. Our grounding of Cap d'Ambre is coming up in a few days time and it looks rough, so we need to be rested. Yay! First Indian Ocean Mai at last. Fresh Mai served for dinner. I'm really excited to taste this, and yeah, there's lots of butter in there and good spices, so bon appetit. Thank you, Jackie. Looks like it's gonna miss us. Touch wood. We don't want the repeat of last night.
Last week our bimini window ripped with the strong winds, and I'm hand stitching it with some whipping twine so that we have some relief from the sun.
For us to get around the top of Madagascar, we have to go through what they call a compression zone. It's formed by the southeast trade winds that blow across the Indian Ocean, and it has to go around the mainland that blocks its path. In that compression zone, it causes acceleration of winds. It also causes swell to basically intensify around the higher winds, and there's a current that also runs to the north. So us being a little bit further south now and not following the direct route from Chagos, we have to round the so-called Cap d'Ambre. And yeah, we are basically in the start of the compression zone now, and we've managed to turn now with the weather more behind us, and we should reach the Cape where it's even more intense in about 24 hours.
In our attempt to be as ready as possible for the winds that we expect should be gusting between 35 and 40, we have taken down the main. We're just flying on the Genoa so that we can make it smaller as the winds intensify as we need. We've tied down everything that hasn't been tied down yet. We have taken off the bimini. We've taken off as much as possible on the deck to leave for everything to run as freely as possible. And yes, we have come as far south as we possibly can to have the best, safest angle for the Cap d'Ambre.
Last few hours has been quite rough. We've properly gone into this compression zone and the wind is on the beam mostly, which makes it quite challenging in 30 plus knots winds and swell to make our course we want to. We're making course and it should be only a few hours, then we should be able to turn a little bit more downwind, which will make things a lot better. Last night we entered the compression zone, which is where the wind accelerates and the swell and the currents also accelerate that come across the Indian Ocean. We did feel the increase in wind speed and the swell. But this morning when the sun came up, I could really see an increase in swell. It was really messy seas and the wind went up to about 35 knots, gusting about 37. So not great conditions, and I was already tired, so I wasn't in a great mood. And then Jackie came on watch and it actually calmed down quite a bit, and as we worked our way closer to land, the swell really subsided quite a bit and we could go more downwind, which made a big difference in terms of comfort levels. So now we just have to aim for the Cape before we can round it, and the wind is going to build during the day and we hope to get there before sunset. But the winds will keep on going 30, 35, 37 knots.
Outside it's still pretty windy, but in here it's really calm. I've been able to bake some bread and we had a nice lunch, so it's nice to be in here, and I'm trying to use every reason to stay in here and leave Gerard out there. But we're going well, we're almost at the Cap, and once we reach a certain point we'll have to turn into the wind again to get out of this stream and out of this compression zone and turn around the Cap.
Last night when it was pretty rowdy conditions, we just had a small piece of the Genoa out going downwind and basically down the swell, although the wind was more on the beam, so it was really small Genoa, just trying to keep speed and sailing for comfort and to make sure that we're safe. But then I did notice that the lower shroud on the starboard side, the backward one or the aft one, was extremely loose. Didn't have any tension, especially when the boat rolled and it released tension. It was very loose. I was extremely worried that something was moving or something broke, but I went through everything, even the jury stay. Everything looked fine. So I just decided to remove the split pins and just tension it up a little bit. And yeah, it's been okay thus far, but we are taking it very easy in terms of the amount of sail we put up. Currently doing 9 knots with a strong current from behind and a small slither of sail out.
I'm sick of the salt spray. It's a strange feeling as we get close to Cap d'Ambre. I'm getting our Madagascar flag ready so that we can hoist our courtesy flag, but it has been our last day of open ocean sailing. From here it's only coastal water hops down to South Africa and eventually Cape Town, and it's our last foreign flag that we'll be hoisting, our last courtesy flag. So it's a bag of mixed feelings today because yeah, it's coming closer and closer to the end of the adventure, but we're also so excited to get home. That yeah, having some mixed feelings.
We made it around Cap d'Ambre. Although the weather models initially showed that the weather completely dies down, the wind and the swell, just as you round the Cape, the new weather model shows that the wind blows over the island. So we're going to have probably another 6 hours of 20 knots wind, but the swell is already much better.
Our first sunset in the Mozambican Channel was nice, but it was nothing compared to our first African sunrise in a really long time. It was beautiful. Now we know where the name Cap d'Ambre, or the Cape of Amber, comes from. Another tuna!
Being good sailing conditions, almost no swell, and like 15-16 knots maybe on a close reach, so it's been really good the last few hours.
Next week we clear into Madagascar and have a special visitor. Please leave us a like and subscribe to join the journey. Thank you to our Patreons for your contributions to our journey, and we look forward to your comments below.